Hey, welcome to another episode of Behind the Bar podcast, brought to you by the coaches and clients of RT Fitness Durham, Sunderland, and of course the Barbell Club and the Barbell Club Online, where we take you from complete beginner to photo shoot ready. So today we have our coach Ben on it, and we talk about what AI means for the coaching world, why training partners suck, is Hyrox dead, and why gyms aren't a scary place as you may think. So please give this a like, give it a share, and leave us some lovely comments below, and enjoy the show. Ready? How do I start? Who the fuck is Ben Rowe again?
I don't have anything to say about myself, to be honest.
We won't.
I'm a coach.
Everyone knows who you are. We had 16 million views on that last one.
Went viral again.
It did go viral. When did we do the last one?
It was before Ibiza, wasn't it? So it was like late.
August?
August.
Even early August. Maybe-ish. So that's a canny bit time. What have you learned most about a coach since the last time you've been on?
Learned most about a coach?
Being a coach.
Being a coach.
Apart from having a great moustache.
That's probably it, since last being on?
Mm-hmm.
I think I use a bit more like psychology when I talk to my clients in particular. I'll give a bit more encouragement, and I'll use my voice at different levels, because before I would just talk at the same like this all the time, and now I'll raise my voice a little bit, or I'll talk quieter. I think I use a bit more sort of dynamics to my tone to get more out of people, because some people, if I raise my voice a little bit or change the music, they get a bit more they're like, I'm excited to lift this, do you know what I mean? So using that a little bit to get a bit more out of people. And as well, what I've been doing a lot more is tracking everything that people lift.
Right.
So
okay,
I can always say, you've done an extra rep here this week, you've done an extra bit of weight here. And I think there's a bit more buy-in as well, because people then know that they're progressing, as opposed to just lifting some weights. I feel like a lot of the time it's hard to tell. You might feel better. This is in regards to sport. You might feel better, but you don't know. But now I can say you're doing this much more weight than last month. You're doing this many more reps, blah blah. And they've got something quantifiable as well as just saying, I feel better.
Yeah.
That's good for buy-in.
I like that. I did it the last time. It was when someone on the nights left. I think it was when Luke dropped his nights. I went in and covered his until we got Shane on board. until we got Shane on board. So I was in there, and it was one of the 5x5 things, because it's quite if they failed and they didn't go up. Mm-hmm. So all I did was you see in there 3 working sets. I would actually write underneath on the board 5, 5, 3, and then the next week, or the next time it came round, it'd be right, we're just aiming 5, 5, 4. That's all I want this week, just to get that one progression.
Yeah, I think it's reasonable, isn't it? Because once you've been lifting weights for a while, at first, I think people get a lot of motivation at first because the weights go up every week, and that's what they see on the board, is they just see the weight, they don't see the reps. So they'll think, my weights are flying up every week, but then after a few months or a year, that's not really realistic anymore. And you just get a rep here or there, and that's more of your realistic progression, week on week. But then people look at the board and go, my numbers haven't went up in ages, and I'll go, well, neither have my own numbers. But I know, because I'm tracking reps, I know I'm getting stronger week on week, but the weight, I've been on the same weight for a month or something. And
my weights haven't gone up for 5, 6 years.
That's because you're a dinosaur, that one. Your natural limit.
But in saying that, just incline bench. Dan put me on 75 to start with, but I didn't get that many reps in the first time I did it, And then the second time I did it, what did I get? Oh, so the first time it was something like 8886, when it should have been even in the 8 to 12 range. So today when I did it, I was like, Dan, I'm just aiming for 8 on each set, and then if I get that, hopefully I get 9 next time.
Yeah,
but I didn't like, even though I could have gotten more on that first set, I thought, well, if I get that, then I can, that's 2 reps
Still progress,
more.
isn't it? Yeah. It's all progress, like. Aye, that's a big thing, like. And that's definitely the biggest thing here, with just having the weights. I've said to loads of people, like, I would like to track your reps, but it's quite hard to do with everyone. If I've got 6 people, I can't track all the reps on all the sets at the same time, unless they all do it themselves. And then there's also, sometimes you'll try to get more reps. You'll have, like, say, I got 11 last week, I'm going to get 12 this week, and they'll just blast out the first 11, like, not very good technique because they've got that number in the head.
Yes.
So it's also, when you just leave people to their own devices, it's not as easy to track, like. It's a tough one.
And then it comes down to the quality of the reps.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's like you might have done 12 reps this week, but 11 last week might have been much more effective because there were 11 good reps, whereas you got 12 shit ones this week.
Well, my reps are all perfect.
Aye, of course.
But I know, like, my form and tempo is good, and I think that's why I went like, well, I'm just going to aim for those 8, because I could have gotten 12 on that first set, but I would have, like, blasted, like, absolutely hammered it out. But if I can get 8 quality reps and then say 9 the next week, then I'm seeing progression as well, then, even for a dinosaur.
Yeah. There's still some life left in there.
If I was a dinosaur, what would I be?
A velociraptor.
Would I?
I reckon.
I'll have that.
Not like a big one, just like a medium. Medium one that makes loads of noise.
Just a medium one.
Small calves.
Small calves? Which ones? All of them do? Because they're like horses in a way, aren't they?
All tendon. Built for speed.
Tell you what, Matty asked us this question in the car the other day, because Matty likes to get deep when we're in a car for some reason, when we're doing the ads. Where do you see the fitness industry in 5 years' time?
Well, AI is going to take over a lot, isn't it? So I think it'll probably move, and a lot of people are getting more educated as well, I think. So I think it'll probably move in a direction where people are using coaches to get something you can't get from AI. So AI could give you like a periodized plan to, like, get to this strength by this date, blah blah blah. I think, like, that'll definitely be something that'll be done by AI. But then I think stuff to do with movement, stuff that's not quite as easily measurable, that's what people use coaches for. So you can use AI to give you a plan, you can't use it for motivation or, like, accountability. Right. And I think it might move more towards everyone knows exactly what to do, but then the sort of more human aspect of, like, you want someone to talk to, you want someone to hold you accountable, you want someone to motivate you. I think that's probably what people will use coaches for. I think. I have no idea.
You have no idea?
No idea.
You're pretty much on the same lines as what Matty was, because he thinks it, like, and I think it is, where obviously online coaching is a huge thing at the minute, like big boom in that, and I think it is going to go full circle. AI, people maybe hire an online coach and then they're going, well, I can get this from AI.
Yeah.
And then they'll do it from AI, but then it is missing that human aspect of it all.
Yeah, AI is not going to get. It's not going to get on your back for, like, not tracking your meals or doing this, doing that. Like, I think it'll be very much like, I mean, it might, because it'll be intelligent, but I don't know. I think like this.
It can only be a notification.
Yeah, really. I think this is good because the people that come here don't come here for, like, the perfect periodized plan. They don't come for, like, numbers or science. They come here because they get held accountable. They've got a community, and if you don't come in and then you come in the next day, everyone's going, where were you yesterday, like? do you know fancy it, like, and everyone gives you a bit like friendly sort of stick. And I think that's the main thing. People don't come here because of numbers or science or blah blah blah. They come here because they get results. They've got a team, a community, and they just get held accountable. And I think that's something you can't really replace with AI. I think so. Maybe you can. I have no idea, but I wouldn't have thought so.
I think AI is one of them things where we all like to think it's not going to be like, no, it's not going to work, but it will.
It definitely will.
Like, it's one of them things where everybody's like, it's like, like nobody needs an iPad, but like, you've got an iPad. Do you know what I mean? And then it's going to come to that point of full circle. Like what Matty said it brilliant. He said like people are just going to miss that human aspect of it all and then come back to it. So he thinks that it'll go full circle of loads of people will be trying it online and then it'll come back full circle to in-house. And I mean, I think you said it right. Do you think small group training?
I think as long as it's about like a group and the thing is with the groups here, or well probably anywhere really, is like everyone knows each other and everyone, like all of my groups, they'll go out for meals and that together, they'll go out for drinks, and that's like exactly what you want really. Like you probably see that and think that's exactly what I wanted like, when I started this, because that's the main thing. So as long as it's got that sort of community, like it's like a friendship circle, isn't it? Like it's like your gym friends. If you've got that friendship circle, then I think that'll always last, because you can't replace that. No matter what, you can't replace like actually talking to someone in person, like actually someone asking you how your weekend was, someone asking where you were when you weren't in. Like it's just not. It wouldn't be the same with AI. Even if it told you the perfect, you need to do this many reps, you need to do this weight, do it this exact way, and it could, like, even if it could like check your form, say you were doing it right, doing it wrong, it's not the same as like as a human being actually being like, how was your weekend? Where were you yesterday? Like, how you doing? Just all of that. It's a completely different thing, like.
And it'll be for free.
Yeah, probably.
And the trouble is with free, why would you listen to it?
Yeah. I think that all the time. Like, there's like a certain price where if it's too cheap, no one's going to listen. If it's too expensive, no one's going to buy it. So like, you've got to find the balance of where it's not too expensive for people to buy, but people will still actually like listen. If it costs £2 a month to come here, anyone will probably come. But
that's pure Jim's business model.
A lot of people say like, well, otherwise I'm wasting my money if I don't come.
Yep.
So it's not all of it, but it's a factor. 100%. And it keeps people coming back and it gets people results. So how much can you argue with it?
Well, if you were saying an AI thing, I didn't think we'd get onto an AI fucking topic today.
I don't know how far I can go with it, 'cause I know nothing about it. Like,
I hardly know anything about it. But if you do think of it like this, of like, it will be free because you'll be able to type in chat, write me a periodization program, I want to hit this in this amount of time, these are my stats. It could probably write you it up now. Okay?
Yeah, I'm sure you could. Like,
you could, yeah. And that's for free, right? But if you say paid that AI, there was an AI program and it cost you £300 a month for it to keep giving you this program, you're more likely to follow that.
Yeah.
But it's the same again, like with a coaching program. It's like an online coach. If there's somebody who charges £20 a month compared to a £200 a month, but it's exactly the same product, which one are you going to get better results with?
100%. You're just going to think, well, he's charging us £200 a month, so you must know what he's doing.
Yeah.
The same as if I message someone for coaching and they were like, right, it's £1,000 a month, I think, you must get a lot of people, or you must like really, really know what he's doing. Whereas if someone was like, even if it was someone who I thought was really, really good and I'd seen him on Instagram and I thought, oh, he knows a lot. And then I messaged him about online coaching and he was like, it's £30 a month, I think. It must be shit.
Yeah.
Like, why is it that cheap? So like, even no matter what you think, I think like the price someone sells himself at almost determines the value, doesn't it? So if someone really undersells themselves, you might think they're good, and then they say, I'm only £30 a month, and you go, oh, it must be shit. I would definitely think that.
Yeah.
100%. If someone was like really cheap, I think, well, why is he so cheap? He must not be that good, or he mustn't get any clients because he's not good, or it might be the wrong way of looking at it, but I would definitely think that. Like,
if I went to, let's say I just want to get pushed, but I want to learn something from somebody at the same time, and it was like, well, I'll hire a personal trainer from a different gym just to go through it, and they says, oh yeah, it's a tenner a session. I'd be like, how can you be charging that? What am I going to get? Just you trying to like make us sick in the session. That's all. That to me, somebody that cheap equals that. Just trying to beast you and without any sort of reason.
Which is like one of the easiest things to do. Like I remember my mate saying he'd been doing this like workout plan with his lass, and he was like, oh no, it's proper hard as fuck. And I was like, it's not hard to tell someone to do 1,000,000 sit-ups.
Yeah.
Like I could tell you to do 200 burpees and it'd be hard as fuck. Doesn't mean it's good.
Yeah.
Like in fact, it's probably pretty shit. Like that's not all that goes into it. Like, but some people do want that, and there's definitely like a time and place for it. But I know what you mean. There's certain people who just think like a good session is when you're lying on the floor at the end, when you feel like you're going to be sick, and they're like, it's classes. But like a lot of the time, it's probably not. Like, because I've got some like pretty good results. I've trained quite hard. I've never been sick during a session. I've definitely been like fucked, but I've never been sick. I've never been like close to death. Well, probably have, to be fair. Like, but do you know what I mean? You don't need to do that to get good results. And I think a lot of people just think like the more fucked someone is, then the harder they've worked, the more they're going to get out of it. It's almost all the time. I think it's probably not the case. Like, definitely too much. You can't do that. If you did that every day, you couldn't do that for longer than a few weeks, I think, without just crashing and burning. Maybe, but I don't think so.
I've tried to use the psychology before for the Carnage clients of like the price parameter thing. Parameters? Do I sound good there?
They sound good, but I don't know if it's the right word. Like
the parameter. I tried to use it before in a post about obviously results, and like they pay like 97 a month for the program, and I think I said in the group before, it was like, if we were charging you $5,000 a month for this program, how different would your results be? Nobody responded. I don't even think I got a like. It was a while ago.
It's like, it is interesting though, because like obviously it's a bigger chunk of your income that you spend on it, so it's probably going to take a bigger chunk of your like effort.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to waste it. But then again, like if it was 15 quid, I mean, a lot of people pay it and still come once a week or come once every few weeks, which I think's mad. But if it was only 15 quid a month, like what reason do you have to really come? Like it would work out at like a few pence a session. You know, and I start losing that. No. You just think, why would I go there? Like, I don't get results because you don't go enough. So people think it doesn't work, but they don't actually try. That's a big one. And then as well, you just think, well, I'm going to go there, I'm going to train hard, it's going to be horrible. I don't really want to do it. It gets no results because I don't go enough. And then it costs us money. I just think, fuck that, I'm not going. So if it's cheap, it's easy for people to not go. Whereas I think if it's expensive, you think, well, even if you don't want to go, there's always that thing of like, well, it's going to cost us like, I don't know how much it works out for like a session, but it's going to cost us like, say, £5. It's costing us £5 if I miss this session. Yeah. So I should probably just go because I'm paying for it. And then even that alone is probably enough to get people results. Yeah. Just because it just keeps them coming. And then I think, well, I might as well track my food because I'm paying all this money to train and have someone like do my nutrition check-ins. I might as well track my food and like try and hit my calories.
You've always got somebody on, haven't you?
Aye, definitely.
There's always one of us getting on at the minute.
Aye.
So then, would you say this is the future on the topic of the future of fitness? Then, with obviously the huge expansion of JDs, pure gyms, where it is £20 a month, and people like flock to them because it is £20 a month, and then they aren't using them and all the rest of it. Are they then going to go to say either like small independent gyms after that because of like? Do you think it's going to come to the point of them actually clicking on and thinking, yes, it's cheap, but I'm not using it because it's cheap?
I think especially with, so say me at first, when I was going to a gym and I was just learning stuff on YouTube and I was trying stuff out, that was sort of enough. But then I think you get to a point where you need something more. That's why I'm always trying like different types of training. I want to do like different sports. And I think that's just that's along the same line of where like, I'm going to the gym, I'm probably getting a bit out of it, I sort of know what I'm doing a bit, but like, I need something else. So I need like, say, a community, or I need, even I've trained for like nearly 10 years now, I still much rather someone just gives us a program and tells us what to do, even if it's something I could have wrote myself. And it's like the same thing we were saying before, like, if I'm paying them to do it, I'm putting my trust in them and I'm just going to do it. Yeah. Because it's written out for us. I could write the exact same program myself and I'd be like, I can't really be asked to do this today. But if someone else has wrote it for us and I paid for it, I just think, I almost don't even think about it. I just think, I've got this session, I'm going to do this session. Yeah. And I think that's probably what, once you're so far into your fitness journey, I think you need something more than just going to the gym and lifting weights. I think that anyway. Some people are antisocial, whatever, but like I think get to a point where you need like other people around you. You need people to push you, or you just need some sort of guidance, some direction, because it just becomes really like monotonous and boring. And sometimes as well, when you get so into that cycle, you don't get as much out of it because it doesn't interest you as much, and you're not getting pushed.
Like live feedback as well.
Yeah. It's the same as like having a gym buddy, to be honest. Like a lot of people have like a gym buddy, they'll go with them, or they'll start with someone else, which I don't recommend doing, by the way. I don't recommend starting with someone else and then you only go to the gym when you can go with them, because then the day that they go, I've got something on tonight, I can't go, you go, trying to fuck it off because I don't really want to go by myself. I recommend like either start something like this or just start on your own.
Yeah.
Because if you rely on someone else, you don't get very far in anything. Like I don't think like
you're relying on the wrong person. Even your drive might be so high, and theirs might just be there, and all it takes is for that. I can't be asked tonight, and it's like they drag you down with them, because then you've been so used to like coming in with them all the time, and I've done loads of posts about training partners being shit. They are. But it's like when you like, I'm not trying to sell this place or anything, but it is like for our gyms, but it is like the training partners are already there.
They're literally like built in.
Yeah, they're built
basically. I think like there's obviously training partners are meant, but like you have to be able to go on your own. And it was I remember doing it was probably like, I might not be where I am today without doing it, but I remember when I started the gym, I was like really, really intimidated, and I would go with these few lads from my school, and they were like much bigger, much stronger than me and stuff. And I would only ever go with them because they knew what they were doing and I didn't. Well, I thought I knew what they were doing, probably didn't. But I remember one time they couldn't go, and I was like, I'm quite enjoying this. I don't really want to go on my own. I'm like anxious and that, but I just thought, I'm going to do it. Like, I'm just going to do what we do together, just on my own. And then I did that, and I was like, I've just had a mint time there. I had a fucking great time on my own.
Yeah.
And I do with a lot of things, to be fair. But at the time, if I was to just let that anxiety probably beat us, I don't know how far I would have went with it, because I was like so intimidated to go on my own, so scared. And I was just like, I think I'm just gonna have to do it because I don't know if I can rely on people all the time. And I did it, and I was like, actually, I enjoyed that loads more.
Yeah.
And that's what just kept us coming back. I think you can't rely on other people, like not for something like fitness where you need to be so consistent, and you don't just go once. You've got to like keep going back, and you can't really rely on that many other people to be consistent. I know, believe it or not, like, because that you've got to basically like you're building your whole fitness journey on top of that other person being at least as motivated as you, if not more.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And if they're less motivated than you, that just pulls you down, and then over time, you probably just fall off.
That happened to me with when I started MMA. It was all the lads from work. It was like one lad was saying, "Oh, I'm going." And I was like, "Oh, can I come as well?" And then it was like about 5 of us, like, "Oh, we're all going." And then it was like we went, and then the next week it was like, "Oh yeah, I can't wait to go back." And then like people were like, "Oh, I might not go." But if you're not going, I'm not going. And then it ended up like, I'm sure it was about 5 of us to start with. And then as time went on, it only ended up being being left. But I did find like the community within that, and obviously I made friends and that there with them. But that's what kept us. The community got us, really. But the training partners didn't. Yeah,
that's the thing. If you never had the balls to go on your own, though, you would have never.
You would have just. On my own?
There you go. I say you start with someone else, but then there's a day comes where like your training partners go, I'm not going to the gym today, and you've got to go, fuck, I'm going to have to go by myself. And it feels like a complete different thing, especially in that environment, because that's so intimidating when you're new to it.
Oh yeah.
Because you think people are terrifying, but you think everyone's going to be terrifying. Like when I honestly thought when I first went to a fighting gym, everyone was just going to be like, it was all going to be like young lads, everyone's going to be angry as fuck, like hard as nails. I like just proper scary, like just love fighting, like, and obviously it ends up being the complete opposite, but that's what you think. So like obviously with that being such like an intimidating environment, or at least at first, you think everyone's going to be like young, scary, angry, and obviously turns out to be the exact opposite. But I started at a fighting gym with my mate, and then I remember the first time I had to go and he wasn't there, I was like, oh, I'm so scared here. And then it turns out, like everything else, you build it up to be something in your head, and it's just not. Everyone's completely fine. If you're sound, everyone's sound with you, and that basically carries across like everything in life.
They
If
look
you're
after
if
you.
you're if you're reasonable and you're sound, you're not a dick. People just reciprocate the same energy. Like,
Yeah.
However, if you, there's loads of people that come in and they're like, they think they're hard as nails and they get cocky in that, and then that gets them reciprocated because people come into a fighting gym, they can't fight, and then they'll try and put it on someone who can fight, and then they'll just get. They normally don't come back after the first session.
Yeah.
A lot of the time,
Yeah.
I've seen loads of people come in and like they try and hit you, get harder, they think sparring's a fight, and then someone ends up just walloping them.
And they're just playing with them
Yeah,
as
yeah.
well. And it's like them are swinging kebabs in,
Aye, literally,
but them
like-
are just fucking just keeping them off. Aren't they? I went that first one I went to because I was older. Would you believe? So I was about 25 when I went, but I remember driving through and
The
my
anxiety.
stomach was like fucking nuts, like
Oh, it's
panicking
horrible,
going
like.
through. And it is like you meet them, and I think my first session I got tapped out of a 14-year-old.
Aye, all the time, mate.
And I was like, because I had been lifting,
Yeah.
like from there, so like,
You think
like
you think
grabbing.
you're so strong, but it's just not about that. Like, it's the exact same as like stand-up fighting. Like, you think. I remember my
think you
mate.
can throw a punch.
I remember my mate who I used to train. I used to train doing weights, and then he was like, "Oh, you should come to kickboxing," and he'd kickbox his whole life, like literally since he was like 6 or something. He's like absolutely mint, and he said like with your training weights for quite a while, and that I thought you'd know how to like move your body, and he was like, "I thought you'd be all right," and he went, "When I first seen you train, like I thought." I don't know if you like, I don't know if this is for you. Like, he didn't tell us this for quite a while, but he said he was like, mate, when you first started, he was like, I couldn't believe how shit you were. But I think like, cause I didn't come into the gym with like any expectations. That I came in like basically like ground zero. I was like, I am shit. I've got nothing about us apart from like a little bit of strength, and I know that's not the way it works anyway. So I know I don't have anything over anyone else. And I was the same when I came into the gym lifting weights. I was like, I know I'm weak as piss. I know I'm skinny. So I had no ego. And I think that really, really served us because I was more willing to listen. I was more willing to learn. And I also didn't expect anything overnight. It was exactly the same with fighting. If I think I would have came in thinking I know what I'm doing, I probably wouldn't have got very far. Like, but I always had like for like the first like 3 years of training, I still used to say it to everyone. I was like, yeah, but it doesn't matter. I'm still literally just a beginner.
Yeah.
Like I would always say, like I'm just a beginner. I've just started. And they're like, have you been doing it years? And I'm like, no, you don't understand. Like, I'm a complete beginner. But I always had that mentality, and I think that was why I was willing to learn, and I actually came on. And it's the same with weights. People come in, they think they're fucking mint, and it's like, yeah, it's not gonna work for you.
People do. I mean, I hear it whenever somebody. So this is like outside the clientele type thing, and obviously people know us as a coach, or if I ever meet people who I don't know, and I say what I do, I used to go to the gym. Did you?
It's exactly this. Loads of people. I used to box. Like I used to do kickboxing.
Yeah.
Like, all right. what you trying to say? Do you know what I mean? Like, sort of fucking loads of people.
But it generally comes down to they did it a bit before. They did a little bit. They've dabbled. They've dabbled in it.
Yeah.
And I mean, don't get us wrong. They're just probably trying to relate
Yeah,
in some way or form.
probably so.
But I remember one lad said to us, right, he was good. He was 12 stone or something at the time. He used to be 18 stone. I was good, right? He used to bench 6 plates each side.
Aye.
I was good, 6 plates each side. Aye. I was good, okay. What's that workout? 6 plates each?
6 plates.
100.
I've never lifted 6 plates or anything. I don't
That's
even know.
240 kilos he used to bench press.
260, isn't it?
Is it?
Plus the bar.
260, there we go. That's why you're number one coach.
260. No. Surely that's like world record numbers. That
Well,
like.
of course it is.
Aye.
But yeah, that's why it was like a moment of like, oh, did you?
Class. It's always like, to be fair, it's normally the people who actually were like decent fighters, or like were like high level at something. They'll be like, they'll not even be like, I used to do a bit of that. They'll just be like, I used to train. I did this, done that, but they'll not be cocky about it at all. And then it's the people who were like, okay, have a massive ego. Like, I used to box. Like, I was kind of good. Like,
Well,
right.
it's. I mean, I was never, ever high level at any of it. Clearly,
I know that. Like.
you know that. But obviously, I did train it for a good while.
Yeah.
But then when somebody says, like, because obviously I haven't trained any of it for years, like tiny little bits over the years, but then somebody says to me like, oh, I trained jiu-jitsu, and I'm like, I don't say, I used to train jiu-jitsu straight away. I first say to them, oh, where do you do it at? And then like, oh, who's the coach there? And like, what are you aiming for? Like, I'm intrigued by what them are doing. And generally, what I hear from, like, say, those hidden people who have actually really done it, they get intrigued by what you're doing.
Yeah. I literally had that in the sauna the other week. I was talking to a lad, and for ages I was talking to him, and he was like, I think it's because I've got loads of tattoos. He was like, "Are you a fighter?" Like, well, not really anymore. I haven't fought in a while, but like, I was like, I've had a few fights and that, and he was like, you look like it, like, and like, he was asking about me for ages and ages and ages. And I was like, have you ever done a bit? And he was like, I am a boxer, I'm turning pro. And I was like, could have easily been like, I box me, like.
Yeah.
And like, which, if someone said that, I would have assumed like, he's done a few classes, he might have like maybe had one fight.
A white collar.
And he was like, after ages of asking me about me, like, asking about my fights, asking about what I do, asking like what kickboxing's like, blah, blah, blah. He was like, I am a boxer, I'm about to turn pro. So he's not just like, had a bout or two, like, he's obviously like really experienced. And I just thought like, that's like an actual sound person who knows the crack and not just got an ego about them. He could have easily just been like, I am a boxer, like.
With those kind of people have got it like, they're not having to prove themselves on the outside.
Yeah, because they know.
Yeah.
I think that's a massive thing. Like, people, it's always the case with fighters. Like, people who are actually good and have got a lot of experience, like, they never brag, or they're never like outwardly like overconfident. A lot of them don't even talk about it.
Yeah.
But they're sure in themselves because they know they've been in the gym years, they've had fights, they know they can handle themselves. They don't need to convince themselves of it. But I think the people who are just starting still need to convince themselves that they know what they're doing.
Well, that's the man at the bar. So you're in a bar. There's one making a fucking song and dance about it, and nowadays there's always a silent fighter somewhere now because of the rise of jiu-jitsu, MMA, all the rest of it, and how many classes is on everywhere.
Everyone, like, so many people train now, especially in jiu-jitsu, because jiu-jitsu is one of the ones where everyone can sort of throw a punch to an extent. But if someone grabs a hold of you and they know what they're doing, it's a complete different story. Yeah. Even if they're half your size, like, if someone starts twisting you up on the floor, and most fights on the street like end on the floor anyway, you really don't like. It's not like, it's just not the same thing. Like, someone who's a fighter could get beaten up by someone who's not a fighter in like a stand-up. Like, if someone just throws a lucky punch or whatever. But like in jiu-jitsu, if someone grabs a hold of you, you don't know what you're doing, like, you have no chance whatsoever. Yeah.
But there's
so many people that can just do that to you with ease, like, at the minute. You kind of be a knob, like.
And well, those people aren't being a knob. Them
completely.
They're knowing, like, well, if he's like starting on someone else and he comes out here and does this, I'm gonna tell him. And then, like, obviously, if shit does happen to go down, I know I can put him to sleep.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much it.
They're normally the people that'll put it off the most as well. Like, they're the people that'll try and talk it down and try like to avoid it because they just can't be arsed. Whereas it's the people who've done like 1 or 2 sessions and like they want to get involved, but like, I know I'm doing, like, box me.
Box me.
Box me, like.
I've had one white collar boxing fight.
Did you win?
I did.
Did you?
By knockout.
I thought you came second.
No, that was me MMA fight.
Oh.
I used to come second though, didn't I?
It could have been worse, like.
I got silver. Do you know what I mean? Imagine being in the Olympics and you still got silver.
It's an achievement, like, isn't it?
It. Yeah. Hyrox.
What
do you think of that? Although, let's stay on the same theme. Where do you see that in a few years' time?
It's just like a sport, isn't it? Like, I don't know. I generally think, like, you know, when something, it might not be the case, but the way I've seen it is it's had like a really quick rise from nowhere. Like, I'd say probably a year or 2 ago, I hadn't even heard of it. Right. And now it's all over. And I generally, with things like that, I might be wrong here, I tend to ignore things like that when they come up really quickly because I think they're also just going to disappear really quickly. Yeah. Do you know, like trends like that? Whereas when something sticks around for a while, that's when I pay attention to it. But I've not really paid much attention to Hyrox. My sister actually wants to do one next year, so like, I would like to do one just to see what it's like, and I like a challenge and stuff. But it seems a little bit like one of those things that's just like popped up as a trend, and it potentially might just die off as quickly as it came around. Like, I don't know, because it's not really anything new, is it? Like, it sort of is. It's a slightly different format, but like,
it's just a new format.
Yeah, there's nothing really about it that's.
Isn't that everything?
Yeah, but it's like it's just like that could be like a CrossFit workout.
Yeah.
And CrossFit's been like pretty steady. It's not really been like a massive trend, I wouldn't have said.
Oh, CrossFit was a massive trend.
It probably was, like. When was it when I was like a baby in the fitness industry?
2010.
I was a baby then.
You were a baby.
I was 10.
You were 10. So yeah, let's say the rise of CrossFit, and that was like 2010, 2012. 2012, that's when it's just popped up everywhere. And that did like pop up, and then it like has gone down.
Yeah, and then it sort of stayed.
But then it's just like, if you're a CrossFitter, you're a CrossFitter.
Yeah,
that's it, all the way through.
But it's probably like an identity at one point, but now it's just like it's just what you do.
Yeah, it had the hundreds of people in the CrossFit style gyms all the time, and now I'd guesstimate that most of the CrossFit gyms have a cool 100 clients who are consistent.
Yeah, probably like it's hard. It's hard as well though. CrossFit, like I mean, they're all hard, but certain ones are like lifting, like barbells, not as hard as carnage. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just not as, you don't feel the same when you walk out, unless maybe legs, but like they're just different things. CrossFit's fucking really hard, like really, really hard.
I couldn't put myself to doing that 3 times a week.
That's
couldn't
the thing.
do
it's
3 WODs in a week.
It's not even just like doing it. It's like, I enjoy doing this and I'm going to keep doing it. That's a different thing. Like,
I could do maybe 1 a week. I could do maybe 1 a week.
You could set yourself up to do it once a week though, but if it was like 5 days a week, I've got to do fucking 100 clean and jerks and then go for a 5k run or something. I don't know what to do, but
yeah.
Well, don't have to be arsed for that.
I suppose CrossFit has got loads of different variations within it. Hyrox is one thing.
It's a sport. It's like literally
it's one. That's it. There's not. It doesn't change for anybody. But what Hyrox brought to the why it's been so popular is because it's so accessible to everybody. Like jiu-jitsu, it's so everybody can actually think I can actually do that. I can do that. It's like the run part is the hardest, I would say, because if you've never ran before and you're having to run.
It takes 7 or 8k.
7 or 8k within after events as well.
It's a complete different story when you've just done like burpee broad jumps or something for like
a sled push and then go for a 1k run.
It's not the same as just going for like a 7k run, especially like in the actual on the day of it in the competition. You might say I'm going to run like 5-minute kilometers or whatever, just for example. When the adrenaline's going and you're in the moment, you're gonna go flat out. Like, it's gonna be, you're not gonna go there and be like conservative. You're at the very least gonna try 90% of your hardest. You're always gonna
like
push.
On the day.
Just because you're in just because of where you are.
Yeah.
I think that's why it's good as well. To be fair, because if it's a Hyrox event, you know it's gonna be sold out. You know there's gonna be loads of people there. And it's just like a big buzz, isn't it?
A big buzz.
Yeah, it's not the same
as
just...
It's like the Great North Run, what people, that's why people do that.
Loads of people who don't run, they'll just do the Great North Run and they'll really enjoy it.
And they'll get through it.
What's the odds of getting them to do a half marathon at any other point in the year?
Never.
Probably pretty low, like, But it's like, because it's a massive thing, like, I'm going to do the North Run this year. It's like, I'm going to do a Hyrox, me. Fair enough. If you can do it, class, man.
I think with it, I think I'm not like against Hyrox or anything like that. I just think it's one of those things where it's like once you've tried it a few times, I mean, you might get an absolute bug for it, but then it's the same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
And unless you get really good at it and like competing in the worlds and stuff like that, then you're a Hyrox person until that lasts. One of the shit things about it is though, like you can't get tickets.
Yeah,
it is.
One of the best things about it is the fact it's always sold out. That's also the worst thing about it.
But I suppose then it's like more intriguing.
Yeah, it is. Because it's like this like mad like mystical thing. It's like, ooh, I'm doing a Hyrox me. Like, oh, you got tickets. I didn't get tickets.
Because I don't know if you know how. Do you know how it works now for the tickets?
No idea.
So basically,
is it? It's like affiliated gyms, isn't it?
Yes, gyms first. So you have to be an affiliate gym. So say if we were to do it as a team, because we can't do it as a team, I'd love to do it as a team because I think a lot of people would get involved in that. where it is accessible and most of the exercises people are doing anyway. But you've got to be an affiliate gym, obviously pay your affiliation money.
I was going to say, how much does it cost to be an affiliate
I don't
gym?
actually know. But then you get first choice of the tickets, but then it keeps some aside and it's like a ballot. But you can't get a group together to do it. And the days of times, like say the coaches were going to do it, and we want to do it in pairs. Like the female pairs and the male pairs, they'd all be on different days or like super different times.
Yeah, so it's not like we'll all just go and compete in the same event.
Yeah.
It's a bit annoying, like.
Because I remember like me, Sarah, Paige and Jack wanted to do it at one point, and it was like, we looked at it and it was over 2 days, we would have had to stay there.
Yeah.
Like just in Manchester. Like we could have gotten the tickets.
It's not the same when you aren't all doing it at the same time as well, I think. Like, you'd like to be, I think everyone's doing it, or like, because you're only doing it for fun, really. You're not doing it because you want to be competitive necessarily. You want to push yourself, but like that's part of the fun. You want to all do it together.
Yeah.
If you were all competitive, then maybe 2 different days. But I just think like, nah. If you just do it, I think that puts a lot of people off, to be honest. Because I would like to do it, but if it's like in any way a foot want to do it, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
If my sister's going to try hard and get tickets, yeah, I'll do it. But I'm not going to.
Would you be doing it as a partner with her?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would do that. Like, but I wouldn't. I'm not gonna wait and refresh the page, enter ballots and that, try and get tickets.
Yeah.
If I was that arsed, I'd just do the same workout in the gym. And I'm not that arsed, to be honest. I'd rather do other things.
I remember years and years ago, it must have been 12 years, 13 years ago. I remember people were going on about the Great North Run, and I was a tight arse. And I was getting, I'm not paying 45 quid for the Great North Run. So the next day I went out for a run, came back 11.5 miles later, fucking, I could have easily did 13. It was like just me being a little bitch.
I know, to be fair, like, it's a lot of things that like when I seen how much it was, I was like, hey, wait, why isn't that much?
You're just running.
I just fucking do it like on my own, but.
I mean, it must be double now.
I think it probably is like.
We are, like I did put in the group about the Total Warrior, and I think this is one of them things. Like I think even obstacle course races, those died out a bit as well, like the OCR racing, like the Tough Mudders, the Total Warriors, whatever else, because they were the high. It was CrossFit.
Yeah.
Then it was obstacle course races, and now it's Hyrox.
Yeah. I remember I used to see people with like Tough Mudder tops on that, and I used to think, oh, it must be a right hard bastard him. And now I just think like anyone can do it.
Yeah.
But I don't know how much of that's me and how much of that's, I don't know. I used to just think like, fucking hell, he's like crawling through mud and that, like freezing cold water, doing runs, and he must be a proper athlete, him. I don't know. It's
not. We actually did it in 2014, a Tough Mudder.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we see him again, you were 3 or something. And I didn't like it, like.
Did you?
I didn't really
don't
like it.
Cardio, you do?
And no, I actually pissed the cardio a bit. Like it was, honestly, the day, like in the you know, I always show off taking the piss. and honestly, on that day, like I said, because it was a handful of the weightlifting people, and I was like, we didn't need training for it. And I was fine. I was actually fine, but they weren't. Sarah was terrible. She was shit. She hated it. Fucking broke her coccyx. Fucking calf fucking cramp a mile in, and I vowed like never to do it again. And like I was having to like run backwards and forwards a bit to keep warm.
Yeah.
Because of like how I think it took us 5 hours, you know. And someone actually lapped us. Like someone did it twice.
Class.
I vowed never to do it again, and then I thought, oh, fuck it, what can we do this year? And I seen the Tough. I said Tough Mud originally, and Rick said the Total Warrior. And I was like, that actually seems quite accessible.
Yeah.
And it was like, same again, community aspect from before. Hopefully, I hope, fingers crossed, a lot of people will jump in with us.
No, I asked people upstairs, like, I sort of brought the idea up upstairs, and like, the way, to be fair, there was a few people who said like, no, why would I do that? But then there was also quite a few people who were like, I'd love to do that.
Yeah.
It's just funny how different people are, like, isn't it?
But it's not appealing. It's not even appealing to me. But you know what it is, actually, I looked on the Tough Mudder and I seen all the muddy bits, right? And then I looked on the Total Warrior and it wasn't as muddy. And that's what made my mind up, you know. And plus it's closer, actually, the Total Warrior's in Leeds, yeah.
Once you've got a bit of mud on you, like, how arsed are you about a bit more? Do you know what I mean? Like, after you've been fully submerged, you're not going to be like, fuck it, some mud up there.
It was rotten. And And now when you said about, oh, they must have been hard bastards, all these Tough Mudder people, when you went, it was the cheesiest thing you've ever been to. So you at the starting line, you had to high five everybody, people who you didn't know, and then everybody had to jump and like going, whoa! But their reselling point was, do you know how you had the orange band?
Yeah.
So basically, they said like if you knew like stand up or something like that, if you've done 2 stand up, so you get a different coloured band each time you go. And then if you've done 10, you've got a black band. And like it got down to that, and it was like, yeah, these are the best. And it was like, what? Like what's going on here? I just want to crack on. Like we're all friends here. I was kidding. No, you're not.
I'm like
white collar.
I'm like when I done that race in the lakes, I was like not trying to be competitive at all. But I was still like, me and the lad I'd done it with, we were still like, and this is, I don't like that I'm like this, but I am. We were like eyeing people up, and there was 2 lads who looked like our age roughly, who looked like fairly fit, like in decent shape, and they're wearing that like that 24/7 gear or whatever it is. And I just thought like, and the glasses and that we literally just thought like, and I don't want to admit this, but I will. We were like pricks. Them. We were like, I just want to beat them.
Yeah.
Like literally, the both ended up separating. I think I ran past one like really early, and I ran past the second one. I made a point of speeding up and trying not to breathe when I ran past him, just so he didn't think I was struggling. And then I stopped, went back to see me mate. My mate was like, "Oh, just crack on, just go off on your own." So I ran past him again. It gave us so much joy, and I don't. But do you know what I mean? I don't like that. I was like, but I was looking at him, and I just thought like, I'm at this race. I'm not competitive. I don't care about racing. There's no prize or anything. But I just thought like, fuck you. I want to beat you.
You want to beat him.
It's just I'm just competitive as fuck like.
But you're competitive in your own head there.
Yeah, I wouldn't have like ever said. You know what it is? We actually spoke to them after, and they were really sound.
Yeah.
But it was just one of those where like before, I'm just like, it's war. This. It's not really. It's just like a run in the lakes. But I just take it so seriously, like.
But that's good.
It is. I suppose like, it's the same as I done another one. I done a 5k with me mate, and
that prick.
And it was actually just like some like middle-aged woman, and I was running, and I was like, she looked like she was struggling, but she didn't look like she was running very fast. And I was like, she's doing all right here, her, like. And then I was next to her, and then she was pulling away from us, and I was like, I'm not fucking having this. So I was literally running at like such a horrible, like uncomfortable pace, trying my hardest to like beat this woman. And I was like properly dying, and she was just like slogging out. And I was like, I can't believe this. I was like, I'm not having this. And there's a bit in Matt Fraser. You didn't jump her over, did you? There was a bit in Matt Fraser's book where he talks about like I can't remember what he calls it. He calls it like the invisible rope or something. And he talks about how like if you basically imagine like a rope between you and a person, and once you like beat that distance, they almost give up chasing you. So I thought, we'll come around this bend, I'm just going to take off, and she's just going to think, nah, she's just going to give up. So I like fucking took off. I thought I was like loads closer to finishing than I was. I thought I was like in my last kilometre, and it turns out I was like 2.5, maybe 3k in. I just took off, and then she caught up with us a bit later on. And I was running, she was like catching up with us, and I was like, this bitch here, man. I was like, let me try me. I was like, I didn't know who she was, like didn't know anything about her, but I was just like determined to beat her for no reason other than like probably ego and pride. But when I crossed the finish line, it was the fastest I'd ever run in my life. It was me 5k PB, and she crossed the line like probably like 20-30 seconds later, and she literally looked like she was about to die. I just thought, I've nearly killed this woman, like. She
might have gotten a PB herself,
she maybe, like.
That's the thing.
Yeah, I spoke to her after, and she wasn't, I said like, oh, well done, that was midnight, and she was just like, oh. didn't want to speak to us, like. Because she probably wasn't even trying to compete with me, but I was just like, in my head, I was like, this bitch, I want to fucking get her, like. So I'm not having this.
I pick gym enemies, like.
You've got to.
Yeah.
You've definitely got like a gym rival, I think, like.
Yeah. Even if it's in good spirits.
Yeah, well, it
rarely
isn't. I was going to say it rarely isn't, but I know exactly what you mean. Like, there's always a gym nemesis.
Yeah, it's like I know at the minute I know Sarah's is Ellie from Durham Gym, and I said to Ellie, I was good. Do you know that Sarah's your gym enemy? Like, you're Sarah's gym enemy, and she's good. I've actually heard of that because she's chasing her on the bench.
Aye.
But that's good. I like that, and hope. The thing is, though, when we do that, hopefully, well, Sarah's already warned us, like, you've got to stay up the person at the back this time.
Yeah.
And I said to her, I'm happy with that. Like, I'm happy to push the team on with that because it is a team event and that's what we want. Because at the end of the day, it ain't something everybody's interested in. And if somebody does want to give it a try, then we've got to help them through it.
Yeah, no one's going to be like, oh my God, Ross, that was like, you were so fast there, because you're the coach and you've done it your whole life. So no one really cares if you do it faster than everyone else. If anything, they just think, what a dick.
And I imagine
why is just running off like,
line,
and like no one's going to be like,
band on.
No one's going to be like, oh, like absolutely class you, Ross. Everyone's just going to be like, what a fucking dick. Like, why didn't you just stay and like, aye.
Yeah.
I'm just too competitive. Like, I mean, I would like to help people on, but if it was something like that I was doing on my own, I'm just so competitive. Like,
but that's it. I think if you're ever doing stuff like that, like say a Hyrox, like for coaches, if you ever really want to do it, you'd have to do it by yourself or with a partner.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Not like if you're doing it as a group, you've got to do it as a group, really.
Yeah. If I was doing something like that, I'd want to I'd want to be with someone who's a similar level to me, because I'd like
more.
the fun. I probably more, to be honest, but the fun that I get out of that is like pushing myself.
Yeah.
So if I feel like I'm only at like 70% because I'm waiting on it, I don't know exactly how it works, but if I'm like waiting on my partner and I'm not doing as much, I'm probably not going to enjoy it as much.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sort of there for the experience, and I'm sort of there to like really, really push myself. With something like that, with like an event or like a race, like I want to finish and feel like close to death, like at least a little bit. Like I want to like really, really feel like I've pushed myself. I don't just want to go through the motions for the sake of doing it. That's just me though.
Yeah, I think we'll end there. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, buddy.